Hi Genderqueer Chat, it's Jack again. Long time no see, and that's completely my fault. I've had some serious tech issues over the past few weeks, which is ridiculous because I am a sub, so why have I been gone? But I've had to replace a hard drive and a computer. It's been a mess. But I'm back, and with any luck I'll be here for a few more weeks. As Keenan's going to be away a bit longer, so you'll be seeing my face and other subs frequently in the next month, which is nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the topics that I missed. I recorded a bunch of videos, but let's just simplify, shall we? So I'm going to talk about those two things, which are envy. If we envy people who have transitioned or cisgendered people, how does that work as a genderqueer person? And gender boxes, having to confront male or female in forms and registrations and driver's license, all that kind of thing. So, and then I'm going to have a new video on Sunday. So, the envy topic was I don't know, a lot of things came up for me when I thought about that. Because how can you envy necessarily something that when you're secure in your own gender identity? And I would say I'm fairly secure in my gender identity. I know that, you know, I'm not male or female, and I have finally come to terms with the fact that my body reflects that. I'm not, you know, I'm not a female-bodied person or a male-bodied person. You know, I'm a genderqueer, androgynous person, and that's just how it is. And I'm both that mentally and physically. Because what other people think are masculine or feminine are societal definitions. So I've been lucky, as I've said in previous videos, to dress and present androgynously all my life. So yeah, I feel like I can't really envy what I already have, which is security in my gender identity and presentation. Yeah, I do envy people who don't have to think about it and confront it and deal with that confusion every single day. But I think even if I was cisgender, traditionally male, traditionally female, I would be thinking about gender anyway, because I would want to be informed and not ignorant like some other people in my life, who, my family included, who, because they don't deal with the gender headache, feel like it's not an issue that they have to take seriously. That was a bit bitter of me, wasn't it? It's you know, it's water under the bridge. So yeah, I think. Oh, I've got a text message. Excuse me. This is unprofessional of me. Anyway, yeah, I think that gender envy is, I guess it's applicable in that, for me as an actor, because most of the parts that I've been acting for a number of years now, and most of the parts that I want to play and that I'm drawn to, that I'm fascinated by, are mostly male. That's not to say that I haven't and don't like playing women as well, or androgynous people, which I've gotten lots of chance to do, which has been fun. But as an actor, you know, just because by virtue of the tenor of my voice and the shape of my body, I'm not cast as the roles that I want to play. I would dearly love to play Hamlet at some point in my life, but the chances of me doing that are very slim, just because I am female assigned. So I envy people who can just, you know, shit actors who can get cast in you know, great roles and great productions, just because, you know, not just because, but they can get cast in those roles and I can't, for what I think is an arbitrary reason, what I see as an arbitrary reason. That's where most of my envy comes from. I envy people who can easily step into a role by virtue of their assigned gender and perceived gender. I've been pretty lucky about theater so far. I've been able to be in a lot of gender-neutral productions and very gender-bendy roles. But it would be nice, if I was ever to go into like film or something, God forbid. Yeah, that would just, you don't have that many gender-queer film stars, which is too bad, because Hollywood would be a hell of a lot sexier. The thing. So yeah, and then there's envy of like, I don't know, a lot of times I look at men and I'll be like, oh, I wish I had that, because I'm more masculine leaning, I think, though I still identify as third or not gendered. But then I realize a lot of times when that happens that I just envy the person, not so much the gender. It's not about gender. It just happens to be that I'm drawn to a certain kind of person. So, like, for example, I would dearly love to be Sir Ian McKellen, but that's because he's Sir Ian McKellen, not because he's an old man. Don't question it. I'm not bringing it. Yeah, so the second topic, I suppose, is sort of connected to this. That's that of gender boxes. This is something I've had to deal with recently since moving to England, because I've found, and everyone else may have had different experiences, it's just mine, I've found that titles and honorifics and stuff are much more predominantly used, at least in the area of England where I'm from. All of the forms I've ever had to fill out, like healthcare, like travel card, student registration and that kind of thing, all include, which I don't find as much in the States anymore, all include this, it's mandatory that you put in Dr., Miss, Mrs., Mr., etc. So I can't get around that. A lot of times when they have it on mailing lists and for stupid things, and a lot of times I'll put like Mr. and then my legal name if I'm registering for something. My legal name is quite obviously female, so that can be a little bit confusing, but it's nice to see it in print if I have to use it. For stuff like, also, a lot of the times in England I've run into stuff like they have lots of really unnecessary and obscure titles like Lord, and one of my favorites was Air Commodore, so I almost put Air Commodore once because I felt that would be more accurate than Mr. or Miss. But then I felt like I would be rude to people in the military, so not that I'm not already, but sorry. I'm not, I'm just anti-war. So yeah, that's been prevalent for me in England. Here I've found, at least in the very liberal northeast where I live, that there's a lessening focus around titles and the need for Mr. and Miss. And actually a lot of times I've heard a lot of stories about friends who are starting university or whatever, and who are asked to introduce themselves by their name and their gender and their preferred pronouns, which is just, I don't know, is really alien to me in my setting in England, where I've felt that there's more, people are more about black and white when it comes to gender, which is too bad. I probably don't run with the right scene over there. I'm not really big in the queer scene at my university, which is too bad. But yeah, so I like overall gender boxes. I like that we're moving away from them. At least we seem to be in the US, and I'd like to see the same in the UK. But we'll see. Yeah, I'd like to be a doctor someday, just so I can get rid of the need for that. but a lot of times on forms and whatnot, I refuse to check off my gender or sex unless it's, directly related to what I'm filling out. Like if I was applying for healthcare stuff, I would check off that I was female because that would affect, if there was an emergency or something, that would affect how like a doctor would care for me because I'm biologically a certain way. But yeah, otherwise I leave it alone. Yeah, so it's I don't know. It's a bit ironic when people fill things out for me. I remember getting my driver's permit years ago, and I was watching my dad was filling out the form while I took the test, and it was really weird to watch him write female. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a hard and really emotionally upsetting thing, especially when I feel so much of gender boxing is really arbitrary and not, not necessary. So, but then again, I'd say that most gender-related things aren't necessary. So, but that's me coming from a third/agendered perspective. So there you are. Sorry, I feel that was a bit of a ramble, but I'm going to give that to you anyway, because I'm so sorry about the delays, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think. And it's been great watching everybody else's videos. So shout out to Keenan wherever he is. I hope he's doing well, and have a good one. I'll see you guys on Sunday.